Well, we picked up our stuff from Moto Blast. We've got our vapor blasted parts, our zinc coated parts, and we're headed to Bonehead right now. So Bonehead Performance is my powder coating place. We're actually here. So we're gonna go inside and we're gonna do the frame together. So Chuck, the owner, has invited us to show his process. He does pretty good work.
Now, when it comes to restoring things, one of the most prevalent things is the color you choose to coat your parts. When it comes to durability and extra bright colors, it's hard to beat powder coating. I've been using Bonehead Performance for years, and one of the biggest questions I get is why I choose them and why they're different than other powder coaters. Just like with any service, you get what you pay for, and they're not always the same quality. The outcome of parts that I receive from Bonehead Performance is always top tier quality, and I thought instead of just talking about it this time, I'd show you guys. I asked Chuck, the owner, to set the frame of the Tri-Z aside so that we could do it together in front of the camera. Let's head inside. All right, guys, so if you've followed the channel for a while, you've probably been in here before. We're at Bonehead Performance. I'm with Chuck, the owner.
How you doing?
I've learned over the years that all coating processes are not the same. So if you don't have the right preparation work and stuff, it's just not going to work out. You guys have probably seen my spray paint stuff. Even that, you can get a good finish with a good prep. And I think it's the same thing with powder coating. And a lot of people will ask, like, oh, how come you use them? Or how come these guys are more expensive and stuff? But you know, you guys will see this facility is freaking awesome. Chuck does really good work.
Thank you.
And yeah, dude, I think like the most impressive thing here, at least when you first walk in, is the color wall.
Yeah, there's a lot of colors in our showroom here. We stock probably 400 to 500 different shades of colors here. Not all of them are in our showroom, but the sky's the limit with the amount of colors on the market now. We can get over 10,000 different colors. There's a lot up on the wall there.
Yeah, I think that's awesome, man. Makes choosing really difficult.
Yes, a lot of people, when they first come in, they think it's like a Lowe's or Home Depot paint wall, you know, and they have a color in mind when they come in, but then when they see the wall, they're undecided and spend an hour or two in there.
Yeah, I can believe it.
Which is fine.
So Chuck, I've been through it here before, but what are the typical processes from start to finish when somebody walks through the door?
All right, start to finish, first customer will either come in our side door if they have something real big that's industrial, we'll load them in the back of the warehouse. If it's small, they come through the front door. You can walk right into our showroom. We write it up in a traveling work order. So we document every single stage through the prep process. We take pictures of everything that's dropped off, so you can call us 5 years from now and we could see exactly what day and exactly what you dropped off on that day due to the pictures and the write-up. From there, customer will pick a color. It goes back to our blast area, or if it's oily, greasy, it goes in our heating oven before we can blast it. And then it goes to a blast cabinet, then it goes to a prep table where we tape it up, plug it, mask it, and then it's ready to be coated. There's a lot of steps involved in between. That's kind of the gist of it. Prep is key to everything. You have to use the right media. You use something too coarse, the coating won't look good. Use something that's not aggressive enough, it's going to delaminate over time. Right. So you have to use the right media for every single piece. And our guys are very, very good in the back. We specialize in automotive and motorcycle, but we do everything. We do a lot of patio furniture, fences, railings, but that's what we specialize in. So our guys are real good at knowing where to tape, where to plug, key tight tolerance areas. So that's kind of key too. A lot of people have told us, looks perfect, don't have to do any sanding. When we get it back, we can just install it right on the vehicle or quad or dirt bike. Right. So it works out pretty well.
Yeah, I know Chuck has told me that a lot of times you said you get stuff in that other people have coated. Yes. And they're like, dude, these guys messed it up, and spindles have paint on them, and
yeah, perfect example. A guy just dropped off a set of wheels yesterday, trying to save a couple bucks. He said he had them blasted. Looks like he went to an industrial blasting company, and they blasted right over the wheel weights and pretty much destroyed the wheels to the point where we have to repair it now. They were blasted way too coarse. He's going with a gloss black. It's not going to look good. So by him wanting to save a couple bucks, actually just put more work on us to get them right for him.
Right.
You know, so that's why we like doing everything in-house, between whether it's chemical stripping, abrasive blasting, masking, taping, and coating.
taking pictures and stuff, I think, is like super important, especially when you're restoring something. There's hundreds of pieces sometimes, and you have all these different customers, hundreds of pieces, hundreds of customers. How do I know that I'm going to get my stuff back? So I think that's really important.
Exactly. A lot of customers will actually, there was a time we had 6, 7 Banshee frames in here all at once, and we tag each one, we label them, we take pictures of everything so we know each one goes to the correct customer. Wheels, we take pictures. We could have 20 sets of 17-inch wheels here. How do my guys know in the back? They flip over the folder, look at the picture of the wheel, match it up. They know what color to do.
Yeah. Did you come up with that process, or was that like something?
It was more my sister here, Megan. So she throw her under the bus
here.
Here.
Be on camera.
Yeah, but no, we as we got busier through the years, we needed a better way to identify the parts, every single piece, so we know exactly what we're giving back to the customer. So we came up with this idea, and it's been working perfect ever since. And that's been, the process is probably 10, 12 years old now.
Did you ever lose something and have like a really pissed off customer?
Once. We lost an oil cap for a guy. To this day, I still don't know where it is. So that was before we started taking pictures of everything. And to be honest, I don't think he ever dropped off an oil cap. So I'm sticking with that story.
How many years have you been in business?
Going on 23 now.
So 23 years, and you can remember the one instance of when you lost
because
something
it bugs
right off
me.
the top of your head too. So.
Yeah, that was the only time. We've had people call us when they get home and say, hey, you never gave this part back. We look in the picture, we're like, okay, you dropped it off, it's here. They call us back a day later, sorry, it rolled under my seat. We've had a few instances like that, but that's it, you know.
That's amazing.
Yeah,
so that's a testament to your work ethic, man. I tell people that all the time. Like, I really just appreciate what you do here, and the whole team, just very meticulous. I've seen a lot of stuff.
You have to be in this industry. You know, I like everything coming out perfect. There's no sense in losing anything. You shouldn't be losing anything. You know, everything is put in the appropriate bins per job, or boxes. You know, we have big bins that we take out to the shop floor, and everything as it goes through each workstation, it stays in the bin, and everything's tagged and labeled perfectly.
Right. Cool, man. Well, speaking of all the parts, this is the finished room, correct?
Yes. Yeah, this is, we're kind of tight on space right now, so all of our large items, whether it's patio furniture, railings, fences, they all stay out in the shop until they're picked up. But when a customer comes in, we leave it unwrapped so they can see it. We wrap it up for you, box it up, and you're good to go.
Sweet. Can we take a look?
Yeah, come on in. So this, when jobs are written up, this is kind of an area that hasn't been touched yet. It has to go to the back still. So from this shelf back are all finished goods. So you have calipers, oil pan, headers, wheels, suspension pieces, things that I don't even know what they are. You know, some people drop off. We have sheet metal fabricators that drop off just pallets of stuff to us, which is good. It keeps us busy. It's not our niche, but we don't turn work down unless we can physically do it. The sky's the limit with what we can do.
And you said, like, stuff for headers and stuff like this, you guys do Cerakoting?
Yes, we do Cerakote. We've been working with NIC Industries, which is a Cerakote division. We do all their high temp coatings, so we stock probably 6 to 8 different shades of colors. They're all good up to 16 to 1800 degrees, and it is a liquid application. It's not a powder. And that's all good for headers, turbo manifolds, any exhaust pipes, heat shields, things like that.
Don't you guys do like piston coating too?
We do pistons. We can do valves. We can do combustion chambers, side skirts of pistons. You know, they're all specialty coatings, but our main niche is powder coating.
Dude, I appreciate that.
Yeah,
what do you say we get started on this frame?
All right, come on back. It gets a little loud back here. So,
all right, let's get to blasting some Tri-Z parts. Chuck walked me through the shop to the back where the burn off, acid dipping, and blasting take place.
Oh, there it is.
So it actually goes in this oven first to dry up, and then it goes in for blast.
Oh, so you did you bake it? It looks like it's kind of dark, yeah.
Yeah. So yeah, it's cool. So I had them bake it before you got here. This way we can take it right in and blast.
Okay, perfect.
We will have to stand back a little bit. I'll have him try to blast that way because it does ricochet a lot.
It's a Banshee frame.
Yeah. That was actually one a guy had coated somewhere else.
Is that the blue one?
Yeah. And it all like tripped and sagged and yeah, I showed it to you when you were here.
So Chuck's gonna leave the this one door open.
Yeah, gets loud. We don't want it ricocheting too much.
How close can I get in there without, you know?
I would stay about right here. You want to get shot in the eye.
So although I couldn't get in the booth for a close-up shot, Chuck was kind enough to leave the door partially open so we could at least see what's going on in there. It's crazy to see these industrial sandblasters and how quickly they remove the original finish from this frame. The original finish from 1985 is literally blasted off immediately. From start to finish, the blasting process took about 30 minutes. If I was to do this with sandpaper and a wire wheel, we're talking several hours of work. Trust me, I've done it before, and the end result probably wouldn't be as good as the sandblasting process. And once the majority of the finish has been blasted away, the object will be transferred from the large blast cabinet to a smaller blast cabinet where finishing work will be done and any missed spots will be taken care of. Now that the frame is completely bare, we'll move it into the coating area. This is where Chuck will plug and mask any areas that we don't want to get any powder. Areas like bearing surfaces and threads where the buildup of powder would cause interference with fitment.
So it is kind of a lot of back and forth with plugs and hooks, and we have a fully climate controlled powder room with all of our powder in it, so it doesn't get too damp or anything and start clumping up.
Would it cake up if it got humidity and stuff? Would the powder cake up?
Yeah, it would just basically turn into a rock if it cakes up. So our powder room is air conditioned with dehumidifiers. We keep everything in there.
And you said these hooks, you have to clean them every single time to reduce
contamination. we either clean or buy new. Sometimes it's easier just to buy new than to clean them all. But we'll hang the piece up here. We usually like to hang it the way it'll actually sit on in use. Blow it off. I'm going to apply a Zinc epoxy primer. That's a good rust preventive coating. And it helps with, you're going a color called Maverick Yellow. It'll help with what's called picture framing. It basically will bleed around real sharp corners. And it almost acts like a filler. So,
I know what you're talking about, the picture framing thing. I didn't know it was called that, but I know exactly what you're talking about.
Yeah. Some people call it edge pull, some people call it picture framing. It's all the same. So let me blow this off. I'll get all the plugs plugged up and get some primer down.
Next, if there's any areas to be masked off, this is where that will be done. One of the options offered by Bonehead Performance that I love is the masking off of the VIN number. If it's not masked off, the powder is so thick that usually the VIN number underneath won't be visible after it's coated.
So what we actually do after plugging all these threads, we'll pull all the threads or all the plugs out before it goes in the oven. That actually will prevent a whole bunch of powder buildup around the plug, so it's a nice clean thread. The plugging on these usually take more time than the coating itself.
The amount of work, it's good that we're showing. People think it just comes in, gets blasted, goes in the oven, and it's done.
Yeah, it's a lot of, there's two more there, there's one
And I'm sure there are people that just blast right over that and don't do any of that work.
Yeah, I've seen that before. You spend that much time plugging, not so much time coating.
Yeah.
And then you got to pull all the plugs to put in the oven and then replug it for the yellow.
Oh my gosh.
Unplug it again. So it's time consuming, but it's well worth it when it's done.
Now is when the coating finally begins. The first coat going on is a primer that has a rust inhibitor in it. If any of the metal had rust previous to blasting, this coating will prevent that rust from forming again. Now the amount of coats that go down depend on which color you choose. The color I chose was Maverick Yellow, and it's only a 2-step process. There's this primer and then the top coat, so it's a much simpler process.
Turn it just so I don't get a face full of powder by standing. You know, I try to work with the booth so it all flows in.
I was just thinking that, see, it's pulling all of the excess powder.
Yeah.
It's like a vacuum.
I was thinking that too. All right, now we're pulling all the plugs again. This way it doesn't create a ring around the actual powder coat. One good thing about powder coating is if by chance I touch it, you can go right over it with the powder gun. It's not like paint where it leaves a big mark, smudge mark. You can touch it up with another flow of powder.
Once the first coat is on, it'll go into the oven for about 30 minutes. I thought this was the perfect time to collect the parts that are already finished for the Tri-Z.
These look awesome, dude.
Yeah, it came out good.
These are going to be...
They're cold, air conditioners blowing right on it.
Yeah, this is awesome.
I'll wrap these up and...
This is all the Cerakoted stuff.
Yeah.
Bronze hub. You can see masks off all the bearing surfaces. This is going to look really good. Cylinder head. The other thing I was really curious about, Chuck, is did you have good luck with the wheels?
I didn't check them. I didn't do them yet. They're still right there. I had a problem with one of our ovens.
That's fine.
This weekend, I was messing with Saturday and Sunday, so I didn't run it. But I'm going to do that this weekend for you.
This is not for the camera either. Every time I've come here, Chuck always wraps the stuff. It's either him or Megan. Just like going the extra mile. Just that blackjack color. The skid plate for the fuel tank carrier.
All right, now that all my Tri-Z parts are boxed up and in the truck, let's get back to that frame and get the Maverick Yellow powder coat on. I wanted to stop to take a minute to thank you for making it this far into the video. I also wanted to stop to thank the companies and sponsors that are helping to make this project possible.
Both of these Tri-Zs came from Power Sports Nation. Power Sports Nation is the largest parts provider for ATVs and UTVs in the country. If you guys follow the channel, you've probably seen me name drop them quite a few times. Now, if you are looking for parts, I encourage you to go to the Power Sports Nation website. While they did provide the parts for this project, what they specialize in is utility ATVs and side-by-side parts. The search engine on their website works great, and it's consistently updated with the new machines and parts that they get into inventory.
I'd also like to thank Bonehead Performance Coatings, BBC TRIKES, Rocket Ron Racing, Rocky Mountain ATV, Moto Blast, Hermosi, and Wicked Metal Designs. These are all companies I trust, and most of them I use on a regular basis. Links and promo codes will be listed in the description below. If you're enjoying the video so far and looking for a way to help out, giving the video a thumbs up, leaving a comment below, or subscribing to the channel all help out a ton. Products and tools in the video are listed in the description below, and purchasing from those links does help me out a lot. I get a small kickback from that, and there's no extra cost to you. And if you're looking to support the channel even further, there is the option to join. All channel members get guaranteed responses to their YouTube comments. All right, guys, I am done talking. Let's get back to the video.
This is typically what you want as a good base coat on steel. If you're going white, yellow, a light orange, we would usually prime it. If you're going a darker finish, you necessarily don't need it on a quad frame or a dirt plate frame. Because it's not going to be sitting outside 24/7.
Right.
You know.
You said that's a rust preventative too, though, right?
Yep. It has special properties in it to stop rust from forming.
Yeah, that's awesome. I just can't get over how good that looks.
Then once you top coat it, you bake it in the oven again.
Yeah, man, it looks really good. I almost don't even want to put the yellow on.
We do have grays that are almost identical to this. Some people say they just like the primer coat and they just want a gray. You know, there's a smoke gray that we carry that's very, very similar to that.
And it would go with almost anything.
Yep.
We have to do the yellow, though.
Yeah. All right, so this is going to be the yellow top coat.
Oh, dude, that's gonna look awesome. Wow. Dude, that's gonna look awesome. I changed my mind already. I like the yellow better.
Yep. It's a nice color.
Seriously, so cool. I've been working with these guys for years, but to actually see what goes on here and to see Chuck, the owner, doing his thing, this is very cool, man. I'm very happy to be able to share this with you guys. And I'm really thankful that he's letting us film it here, all the guys in here, really, because we're kind of getting in the way, honestly.
Ready to go in the oven?
So after about 30 minutes in the oven and some time to cool down, the frame was done.
There you go.
Dude. Yeah, man.
Still
that's
warm.
Really good. Yeah, this is a nice color. Oh, I can feel it.
Yeah.
I can feel it like
warm it is.
radiating. Yeah.
Yeah, it's still pulled it down a couple minutes early, but
Yeah, man, that looks
now
really
you can
good,
build.
Dude, thank you so much for letting us film
no
here
problem.
today. I really appreciate it.
Glad you like it.
John behind the camera was asking questions, so we gotta know.
Sure.
Where did the name Bonehead come from?
My most famous question I get asked. So I started the company long time ago, back in college. It kind of just stuck with me for many years. I'd be working out in the garage with my father and his friend. Before I knew the ins and outs of tools, he would say, go get me a 3/8 ratchet or whatever tool, and I'd give him something completely different. He's like, you're such a bonehead, and it kind of just stuck over the years. So that's how it evolved into Bonehead Performance Coatings. But yeah, short story there. It originally started with me and my father, and you know, it just kept growing, you know.
It's a good name too, though. It's almost like those I Hate Steven Singer things.
Yes.
It's like, why that? What does that mean?
It grabs your attention, and you want to know
You
more
remember,
about it.
You
so
know what I mean? It's not like nice coatings.
yeah, nicecoatings.com.
Yeah.
But yeah, hopefully you like it and enjoy the build.
Yeah, I'll bring it back when it's all done.
Cool.
Thanks
Sounds
again,
good. I
dude.
want to see pictures.
All right, so our frame's done and some of the other parts for the Tri-Z. Let's head back to the shop and check them out. Now, I don't have everything out on the table right now because there's just too much stuff to fit on the workbenches, but man, this stuff came out really nice. Check it out, we've got some bonus content. So I didn't even tell you guys, but I got the suspension back from Rocket Ron. We've got these beautiful forks, man. So these are from a 2012 CRF 150R, and this is going to be a huge upgrade over the stock suspension from the Tri-Z. I had my suspension guy, Rocket Ron Racing, rebuild these things for a 250-pound rider. Now, you got to take into consideration, I'm about 220 pounds, then you've got your gear and stuff. With boots and all that stuff, I thought 250 pounds would be perfect. He also coated the fork tubes. It's kind of like a satin black finish. It's gonna look really sweet, man, with the BBC bar clamps. So these triple trees, I had them blasted and Cerakoted in a gunmetal color at Bonehead Performance, and man, it's gonna look freaking awesome. The contrast of the black and the gunmetal is gonna look freaking sweet. And you may be asking about these little gold bolts. Well, guess what? They're not zinc coated, because we are gonna check out the zinc coated stuff from Moto Blast. They're actually titanium bolts, and the reason I went with titanium is because titanium is lighter, and I felt like the front end of this three-wheeler should be even lighter than it already is. Because,
Why would we not do that? Okay, so moving on, we've got the rear shock. This thing looks freaking awesome. I've got the rear spring on there. That's gonna go really well with the yellow and red color scheme on the whole Tri-Z build. The only thing that I haven't taken care of yet is this reservoir. I'm not sure what I'm gonna do with this yet. I really wanted to leave this original sticker on here because it's in such good shape. And honestly, the aluminum looks pretty good the way that it is. So I might try some aluminum brightener. Otherwise, I may see if James at Moto Blast can very carefully blast this so that the finish looks brand new without harming this sticker. I just thought that looked really cool in OEM. Rocket Ron also rebuilt this shock, and he painted, or I'm actually not sure what the coating is that he uses on the shock bodies, but he colored it black to match the front forks and kind of give it an updated look, but still have the retro appearance to where it's not like, is that original? Unclear. It looks really, really good. Then we've got the rear sprocket. So this is the sprocket hub, and you can see it's actually kind of banged up around the front. I chose the worst of the two. So if you guys are just hopping on this build, we had about 3 Tri-Z's that were combining together. One was a roller, one was a complete unit, and the other one was just kind of in random pieces. This was the worst one of the bunch. I chose it because we were going to be redoing it. I didn't realize these bashes, but you know, it's going to be okay. I had this Cerakoted in a bronze color because this insert in here is steel and then the outside is cast. So with the 2 different colors, powder coating is a little bit too thick, so like you can't go over splines and you also can't go over the threads for these studs. The Cerakote, you can thread those nuts right over top of. You don't have to like clean them up or anything. So that was the easiest, best coat that I could think of. Then of course we got the rear carrier, and this is freaking awesome, dude. This is the front hub. And man, does that look cool. I've got the bronze Cerakote on there. I wanted you guys to see how clean the inside is. Bonehead Performance does a really good job of masking off any kind of bearing surfaces and stuff like that. And then you'll see there's a gunmetal piece in here. That is another piece from BBC Racing. It's the disc converter. So we've got a brand new Niche disc. This is, I got this off Amazon for 25 bucks. It's made by Niche. And I picked this one because, you know, they've got Streamline and Galfer and ones with like wave rotors that look really trick. But I thought that this was the most retro looking one. It's going to give it the most, you know, OEM appearance. So, you know, you guys let me know in the comment section below, but I thought that one looked really cool. Then of course we've got the cylinder head. Still got to surface this, but that's going to be in the bronze color. That's going to contrast the cylinder really nice. And then I've just got some miscellaneous parts. And of course, the frame looks freaking awesome, man. Yeah, so this came out freaking awesome. The color is called Maverick Yellow, and I think it's only right that we do a test fitment and see if we got our color matching right. Something I kind of messed up on is I didn't bring these fenders to Bonehead to match the plastics, so hopefully we got it close. That does look, man, pretty cool, pretty cool. Let's get the seat cover on here. Seat entirely. Oh, I don't know if we're gonna be able to do this. Might have to hold it down a little bit. Oh man. Dude, this thing is the freaking banana. Let me tell you what. Dude, this thing looks really freaking good. Check this thing out. I am pretty shocked at how close the colors are. So this Meyer rear fender matches really, really nicely. The seat is even closer. And then our tank cover, well actually air box cover from DC Plastics is just slightly off, but not enough to where it's going to clash. If you take a step back, you can see, I think it's going to look really good, especially when the graphics are on there. We're going to do minimalist graphics, I'm pretty sure. It's going to be very representative of OEM, but it will say Yamaha across the tank. I might do a couple decals on there, like ghost decals, but anyways, it looks really good. I still plan to buff these up a little bit. They come with kind of like a haze on them. It's more of like a satin yellow. If I buff that up, I think it'll look more like the Meyer plastics in the back. But it is really cool to just see, you know, basically like a quick mock-up. I had to put that Milwaukee down there to hold the frame in place. But man, very cool. You guys got to let me know in the comment section below. I'm super happy with the way these colors came out. I think all of our finishes came out absolutely perfect. Now, if you're looking to get your parts coated by Bonehead Performance, you can hit them up at boneheadperformance.com, or you can find them on Instagram at Bonehead Performance. I highly recommend these guys. I mean, I've been using them for years. If it isn't obvious from this video, they're super meticulous. The first time I did powder coating, I really didn't know where to go. You know, there's tons of places out there. There's a lot of industrial places, and at first glance, you think that, you know, it's powder coating. They're probably all pretty good, and I'm sure they are, but they obviously go the extra mile at Bonehead Performance. These industrial places, a lot of times, they go on an assembly line, they get acid washed, and then just mass blasted. I used to work at a place where we would build emergency services vehicles, and we do the cabinets and stuff like that, and that's what they did there. So I've got to see the ins and outs of powder coating from a couple different places, and it's very, very meticulous at Bonehead Performance. So just keep that into consideration when you're doing restorations and stuff. It's a good tool to have in your back pocket. So if you do hit them up, make sure that let them know that I sent you. And there's one last thing that we have to do. We've got to go over the Zinc parts and the Vapor Blasted parts from Moto Blast. Now I'm going to do my famous spread, which takes like freaking hour and a half to do. So I'm going to lay it out, and I'll see you guys then. Hot damn, man. You gotta love the spread. This stuff looks so cool when it's all laid out like this. So this is the yellow zinc from Moto Blast. This is the black zinc right here, and this is actually blue zinc right here. Now, I didn't have these done by Moto Blast. I just put them there for comparison because all three of those options are available from Moto Blast. You can see he does everything, man. You know, stuff like this, these clamps, sometimes these are like $15 from OEM. So it makes sense to get them recoated. Depending on what piece you have, I'm going to say it's between $2 and $6. You know, some of this bigger stuff, it's going to be more expensive to get coated. And I don't know if you guys will be able to notice, but this zinc coating has almost a different color than factory, and it's because it's thicker. At least that's my speculation. James puts it on really, really thick, which is awesome. A lot of times from factory, they'll just barely put enough on there so that it doesn't rust, and then you know, you get a couple rub marks on there and they start to rust. So he puts it on a lot thicker. It's going to be a lot more durable. Now, moving down the line, we have some other stuff. These are rubber pieces. He actually vapor blasts these, and you can see, man, it looks like brand new. So this is stuff that's discontinued. Really good. A lot of rubber stuff I usually replace, like a grommet like this, I would want to replace, but the rubber was still okay. It had paint on it and stuff. So he vapor blasted it. It looks really good. And, you know, we've got some hose clamps, makes them look like brand new. These can be kind of expensive. To get them vapor blasted is more economical for me. We've got the brake piston here. He cleaned that up. And the brake clips look like brand new after he blasted them. I had him blast the rear disc as well because of this weird design, that like concave design that they have on the Tri-Z. I don't even think you can get this disc anywhere. I couldn't find it aftermarket, couldn't find it OEM. This one was in the best condition of the two that I had. So I just cleaned that up, and I might coat the center black just so that that doesn't rust. And then, of course, we've got the vapor blasted cases. Dude, these things look absolutely brand new. We're going to take a closer look at the cases when we do the engine video because I have the cylinder too. I had that re-sleeved at Power Sports Nation and then vapor blasted at Moto Blast, and it looks freaking awesome. Give you guys a close-up here. These things, super expensive. They're like $8 a piece. He cleaned them up really nicely. The seals were still good in there. They look like absolutely brand new. We've got little special pieces here, a seat latch piece, springs, all kinds of little stuff. You can pretty much do anything you give to him. This is for the steering stem, our fuel pump. These clips right here, again, these are pretty expensive from the factory. So I got all them recoated. All of our studs are up here, our swing arm bolt. This is for our linkage, all of our nuts and everything. Oh, our Kickstarter. It's going to look really cool with the contrast. I've got the actual kick shaft is still being coated in a texture black. But man, all this stuff looks great. Hard not to appreciate, man. This stuff looks freaking awesome when it's all laid out together and organized. These are basically like brand new bolts. So if you're doing any kind of restorations or anything like that, highly recommend Moto Blast. You can find them at njvaporblast.com, or you can find them on Instagram at Moto Blast. If you do give them a call or contact them, please let them know that I sent you. That does help me out. This stuff is basically brand new now. So these are almost everything here is the original hardware from 1985. Some of it's different. These hubs are from the OG Banshee, actually. These are Vito's reproduction hubs. I had these on the on the OG Banshee, and then when I made the Voodoo Banshee, we switched over to the, I think they're LSR aluminum hubs. So I had these blasted and zinc coated. Now the reason I went with Banshee hubs is because it's the 4x115, I think it is, bolt pattern. So it's like a regular Yamaha bolt pattern as opposed to the Tri-Z one, which is like blaster bolt pattern. It's a little smaller. So this is going to give us more options with wheels, and it's a direct swap. The other stuff here, we got the shifter here. You know, we got to put a brand new OEM boot on there because that was pretty shot. But all this stuff is basically brand new now. So it's a slow moving project. We're still waiting on some parts. You can see over at Bonehead, we're still waiting on the wheels, and my engine covers still isn't done, just a couple things like that. And then I'm working with the clutch basket. I still can't get the bumpers made, so I'm working on finding the correct type of rubber that those bumpers are made of, and I probably gonna have to get custom ones made. So just bear with me, guys. I know, you know, we brought a new Project Corvette in, and people were like, oh, what about the Tri-Z? You guys forgot about the Tri-Z. I didn't forget about it. So we're just gonna have to take this as it comes. But that is why we have the Corvette project. If you guys haven't checked that out, definitely check it out. It's a 2017 C7 Corvette Stingray. It's salvage damaged. It hasn't been running in 2 years. Really, really excited about that. So that is probably what the next video will be on. And then we're going to be getting into the engine build as soon as I get those pieces. It'll be coming, man. I appreciate all you guys. If you enjoyed this content, please give me a thumbs up. That helps me out tremendously. And consider subscribing, man. Like 75% of the people that view this channel are not subscribed. That helps me out a lot when you subscribe, and it doesn't cost anything. So I appreciate it if you do that, and I will see you guys in the next video. Peace out.